Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation Public Information Meeting for the installation of Centerline rumble strips. This project intends to install Centerline rumble strips on eligible roadways throughout Connecticut that will be resurfaced in 2026. Tonight, we will be presenting specifically on the need for Centerline rumble strips in Farmington on Route 10, as well as highlighting the safety benefits that come with its installation. My name is Shane McLean, and I'm a transportation engineer at the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us. We hope our presentation will be informative, and we hope to answer your questions and concerns during tonight's question and answer session. By the end of tonight's meeting, we hope you'll have a better understanding on the importance and benefit of installing centerline rumble strips. We ask and would greatly appreciate it if you can fill out the very brief feedback survey at the end of the presentation that is located on the project's webpage. The survey will help CTDOT improve these public meetings going forward. Again, the project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT 2026 CLRS-Farmington. There's also a civil rights flyer that's available. The website for that is portal.ct.gov/DOT/equity/title-VI. I'd like to reinforce that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. This is the same civil rights flyer, but in Spanish. So I'll give you guys a second to read it if we have any Spanish viewers. At the end of the presentation tonight, there will be a question and answer session through the Zoom Q&A. You can also ask a question by sending an email to DOT 2020 or DOT 2026 CLRS-Farmington@ct.gov or by leaving a voicemail at 860-594-2020. Once again, the email is DOT 2026 CLRS-Farmington@ct.gov. The comment period will be open through Thursday, January 29th, and you can send an email or leave a voicemail until that date. We also have a project webpage which contains the same information that I previously explained, now to provide comments or ask questions. This webpage address again is portal.ct.gov/DOT 2026 CLRS-Farmington. A recording of tonight's presentation, including the live event Q&A, will be stored at portal.ct.gov/CTDOT VPIM archive. If you are viewing this presentation on Zoom, you have the option to view captions or subtitles for this presentation. To turn on this feature, select the CC button at the lower right corner of your screen to turn on the captioning. Then choose a language by selecting the settings upward chevron next to the CC button, select speaking language, and select the desired one. Our presentation will approximately be 20 minutes, and once it is completed, we will host a live question and answer session. As I mentioned, you have three ways of communicating with us during the live Q&A. One method is to ask your question directly into the Zoom event. You can ask a question by clicking on the Q&A icon at the bottom of the meeting page and type in your question in the pop-up window. If you're an audio-only participant, dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. I would now like to introduce those from the department who are participating in this meeting. Natasha Fatu is the State Safety Engineer for the state of Connecticut and the Principal Engineer of CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit. Balazs Zog is a Supervising Engineer at CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit and is the Project Manager and will be moderating this presentation. E. Liu is a Transportation Engineer at CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit and also the lead project engineer for this project, who will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. Vincent Mon is a transportation engineer at CTDOT's Traffic Safety Unit and will be monitoring the project email address and call and voicemail for any questions or comments during the live Q&A. Once again, I'm Shane McLean, an engineer in the Safety Engineering Unit and primary presenter for tonight's meeting. The agenda plan for this meeting will have us go through the project description and purpose of the project, as well as objectives that we hope to achieve. Then we will give a thorough description of what centerline rumble strips are and why centerline rumble strips are a good countermeasure for this roadway segment. Next, I will discuss the installation process of centerline rumble strips. Lastly, we will go over the cost and timeline for this project before we wrap everything up with the live Q&A discussion. The Connecticut Department of Transportation will resurface Route 10, Waterville Road from Route 4, Farmington Ave, to Route 44, East Main Street and Avon Mountain Road, shown in black. In Farmington, the section of 0.25 miles north of Route 4, Farmington Ave to the Avon/Farmington Town Line, a total length of 2 miles, was identified as being a candidate for the installation of centerline rumble strips. This is shown in pink on the map. The blue line shows where CLRS already exists. Centerline rumble strips are discontinued at intersections with public streets such as Aqueduct Lane because vehicles use this intersectional area when they are turning into and out of these side roads. So what are centerline rumble strips? Centerline rumble strips are grooves within the double yellow centerline that produce sound and vibration inside the vehicle when the tires come into contact with them. The sound and vibration alerts the drivers that they have departed from their lane and gives the driver an opportunity to recover. Centerline rumble strips are different from the grooves along the edges of CT's interstate highways. The grooves for the centerline rumble strips on secondary roads are not as deep. CTDOT has now started installing centerline rumble strips. Sorry. CTDOT has now started installing centerline rumble strips with a wave patterned sinusoidal profile that produces a quieter sound than the traditional version of outside the vehicle. Both the traditional and sinusoidal versions of centerline rumble strips are pictured side by side. So here's a clip from CTDOT's informational video about centerline rumble strips. For the video, interviews were conducted with state police, a Yukon traffic safety expert, and a town official regarding the benefits that they have seen from CLRS. The full video is available on CTDOT's YouTube channel, CTDOT Official.
The biggest causes of head-on collisions seem to be distractions inside the vehicle. As a result of that, people leave their lane of travel, they drift over into the opposing lane, and then strike the other vehicle. When you combine the movement of one vehicle and the movement of another directly striking one another, the force is multiplied.
The centerline rumble strips are grooved pavement that is placed along the center of the road that provides tactile information to drivers if they're leaving their travel lane, crossing over the center line. They get a vibration and a sound to alert them that that's what's happening, and it has them correct back into their travel lane.
The process of installing the rumble strip was great. The work was done at nighttime when there's less traffic, and before you knew it, the rumble strips were in. We've noticed a lot less traffic fatalities, a lot less head-on collisions, so the rumble strips actually help quite a bit when it comes to distracted driving.
All right. So why use centerline rumble strips? Crash statistics from 2022 to 2024 in Connecticut showed that roadway departure crashes accounted for approximately 480 of the 950 total fatalities, or 51%. The Federal Highway Administration has identified centerline rumble strips as a proven safety countermeasure to address head-on and sideswipe opposite direction crashes. Therefore, in an effort to reduce this number, they recommend CLRS to be installed in all eligible locations. When driven upon, the audible and vibratory warning greatly improves the chances that a driver will quickly and safely return to their lane. Also, as mentioned in the previous slide, a wavy sinusoidal shape is being used, a design which reduces noise outside of the vehicle, opposed to the traditional design of centerline rumble strips used previously. Centerline rumble strips also have the additional benefit of helping drivers navigate during poor weather conditions such as fog, snow, and rain, when pavement markings are obscured. Centerline rumble strips are an example of a proven safety countermeasure according to the Federal Highway Administration, along with the other countermeasures shown on this slide. Additional information can be found by Googling proven safety countermeasures. CTDOT's Safety Engineering Unit also has an informational website which provides additional information specific to Connecticut. In 2024, there were 28 fatalities and 1,800 injuries from head-on and opposite direction sideswipe crashes on CT's non-freeway roadways. Centerline rumble strips help reduce these type of crashes, which could be attributed to distracted or fatigued driving. Around 42% of people injured in crashes associated with vehicles crossing the centerline were of the ages 20 to 39. In a 2024 study, Connecticut roads saw a nearly 20% decrease in roadway departure crashes after the installation of CLRS. Looking at motor vehicle crashes on this segment of Route 10, Farmington from 2022 to 2024, there are at least one crash that involved vehicles leaving their lane, likely because they were distracted. This crash resulted in a property damage. This data is publicly available from the Connecticut Crash Repository at ctcrash.uconn.edu. The point of the centerline rumble strips is to reduce the possibility of these types of crashes. It is also important to note that near misses are not recorded, so they may be happening, but there's no information about them. Centerline rumble strips are a highly effective, low-cost, proactive treatment intended to reduce lane departure crashes and will aid in continuing to keep these crashes from happening. Additionally, per our other studies around the country, centerline rumble strips can reduce head-on crashes by as much as 50%, run-off-the-road crashes by 46%, and fatal crashes by 51%, and serious crashes by 41%. There are approximately 43 states across the country that use centerline rumble strips. Oops. So there are approximately 43 states across the country that use centerline rumble strips, including all the states in the Northeast US. Connecticut started installing centerline rumble strips in 2018 and shoulder line rumble strips on limited access highways since 1994. CT has also installed over 500 miles of centerline rumble strips on state roads and over 90 miles on local roads, with more being proposed every year. Lastly, there's a link to a video titled Rumble Strips, The Sweet Sound of Safety, which is a short YouTube video uploaded by the Federal Highway Administration and will be available once the presentation is posted online. You can also search this up on YouTube by typing in the underlined keywords. As you can see on this map, of the end of last year, the majority of towns in Connecticut have had centerline rumble strips installed. Any town shown in blue already has centerline rumble strips, whether it's on a town or state-owned roadway, and towns in orange are programmed to have them installed. Towns shown in white do not currently have centerline rumble strips, but this will likely change in the near future as additional roads are repaved. So here's a map of CLRS in Farmington. The existing CLRS is colored in blue, and the proposed CLRS on Route 10 for this project is shown in pink. So the department goes through a screening process based on FHWA guidance to determine centerline rumble strips eligibility for each road, including taking a look at the traffic volume, making sure that average daily traffic on the road is at least 2,000 vehicles per day, ensuring that the pavement is in good condition and less than 3 years old. The roadway is to have a minimum of 14 feet of width from the center line to the edge of the pavement. This makes sure that there's plenty of room for drivers to maneuver without going over the centerline rumble strips. The roadway generally has a posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour or greater. And then lastly, there should be a low residential density. If there are some homes along the segment, we try to ensure that the majority are at least 100 feet from the edge of the road. The average cost of installing centerline rumble strips is about $1 per linear foot. This means the total cost of centerline rumble strips is approximately $11,000 for the proposed segment on Route 10. The cost will be covered by 100% state funds, so there's no cost to the town, with construction anticipated to take place during next year's construction season. These are just a couple of pictures taken from construction, showing parts of the milling and grooving process. Construction vehicles work and travel at 2 to 3 miles per hour to install the centerline rumble strips. The work is done during non-rush hours, and the centerlines are painted shortly after. And with that, I want to thank you for your time listening to our presentation. And now it's time to hear from you in our live question and answer session. Remember, you can use the Zoom Q&A to send us live questions. You can also email us any questions or comments via the project email address, or leave a voicemail message on the call-in phone line. We also want to encourage you to take our very brief feedback survey to help us improve how we deliver these virtual public information meetings. And with that, do we have any questions from the email, voicemail, or chat for us to answer?
All right. Thank you, Shane, for that informative presentation. We have a few people on the call, but as of now, I'm not seeing any questions come in yet, so we'll keep it open for a few minutes and see what comes in. In the meantime, I do want to remind everyone how they can ask questions. For those in chat, you can post your question in the Zoom live event chat. You can ask that question anonymously if you would like. You can also email us at dot2026clrs-farmington@ct.gov. You can call in at 860-594-2020 and leave a message, and we'll be able to get to that as well. Additionally, the comment period is open until January 29th, so 2 weeks from now. So if anything comes up between now and then, please feel free to reach out to us. We also have a project webpage, which is portal.ct.gov/DOT Farmington 0170-3783. The links are being shared in the chat in case anybody is interested or wants to copy it into their browser. There is also a link to the survey, so we are hoping and reminding and encouraging everyone to participate in the brief survey. It can be found on the project webpage, but it's also linked in the chat here, and that will help us with any feedback that anyone might have as to how to make this more effective in the future. So we are checking the voicemails and emails. Like I mentioned, as of now, I'm not seeing any messages on those two platforms, and I'm not seeing anything in chat right now either. So, like I said, we'll stay on for a few minutes just in case anything does come in. But again, just to remind people, if nothing does come in today, there is an open comment period for the next 2 weeks where the public can provide feedback in case they're not able to come tonight. This recording is also going to be posted on the DOT webpage on our YouTube. Again, just we can remind everyone again, if you want to reach us by email, it is dot2026clrs-farmington@ct.gov. By phone at 860-594-2020 to leave a voicemail. We have the Zoom question and answer session open tonight, and the project webpage is portal.ct.gov/DOT2026CLRS-Farmington with the comment period open for the next 2 weeks. And again, the links to that are shared in the chat in case anybody is interested. We'll give it another minute or two just in case anything does come in. But right now the airwaves are quiet. Again, the easiest way to get in contact with us tonight is through the Zoom Q&A. All right. Well, we're not seeing a whole lot of activity in our chat or our email or our voicemails. So we're going to wrap this up, I think, for tonight. I do want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And again, remind everybody that the comment period is open for the next 2 weeks through January 29th, if anything comes up between now and then. Questions can be sent to the project email at dot2026clrs-farmington@ct.gov. You can leave a voicemail at 860-594-2020. Please also visit our project webpage, which is portal.ct.gov/DOT Farmington 0170-3783. There you can find copies of the plans and a link to the brief survey, which again is in the chat, and that we encourage everybody to fill out. With that, thank you again for your time and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.